Hello everyone, my name is Nicholas from Exolvate Games team and welcome to a new C++ Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. Today we are starting a new series called Procedural Dungeon Generation. This system wasn't made by us, it was created by a YouTuber named Reanimation using blueprints, so all credits goes to him for this amazing work. For this system I sometimes used a different method, so some parts will be done a bit differently than how Reanimation did it. I also left out some things like making things look prettier or adding our character and spawning enemies in the dungeon, because I think you can find better tutorials for those topics than what I can show you in an hour. For now, let's focus on the main idea of this system and let's get started. Okay guys, so the first thing that we need to do, like always, we need to create a new project, or basically project where we are going to create this system, okay? So we will need the third person character project, and here we need to click on C++ in order to get all the C++ classes that we need. And also make sure that your starter content is not checked. And the very last thing that we need to do here is to name our project. I'm going to name it with caps PDG, shortcut for Procedural Dungeon Generator. Okay, so I think that's okay. And just click on create and wait a little bit after that. Okay guys, after a little bit of waiting, here we are in our Unreal Engine, and also our code editor instance is opened, okay? So the first thing that we are going to do is basically delete all of this stuff, okay? So just like this, or maybe we can find it inside some folder. So let me see. Okay, so we delete this. What is this? This chamber cube. Okay, so don't forget to delete this. Let me just see this. Remove this content inside this cylinder folder. Okay. Also this and this, and I think that the last thing that we need to delete is this. So basically I'm going to delete also these folders because we don't need them, and yeah, basically we are getting this empty level. So yeah, that's the thing that we want for now. Hey guys, Nicholas from the future here. I just noticed that I didn't mention what we are going to do in this part, so sorry about that. Basically, in this part right here, we are going to do some kind of setup. Yeah, we are going to create files for our rooms. We are going to basically declare some of the variables that will hold basically components, and later you will see what are those components that will help us to make appropriate look for our room. So yeah. Okay, so the way we are going to do that is basically we are going to create a room-based C++ class. And then we are going to create a few C++ child classes from that room-based class. And after that, for that each child C++ class, we are going to create a blueprint-based class from those child classes. So yeah, I hope you get the point, but if you don't, you will see later what I mean. But for now, just follow my steps, okay? So, like I said, the first class that we are going to create will be a room-based class. So yeah, do that inside this C++ classes folder, and then this folder right here. This folder can be named differently because it depends how your project is named. Mine is PDG, so yeah, also my folder inside this C++ class folder will be named the same as my project, okay? So just double click on that folder, and here we are going to create a new C++ class. Okay, and we need to select this actor. We are going to click on next. Now we need to name our class. I'm going to name it room base. Room base, you can name, you can give it some other name. It depends on you. Okay, so if there's something that is making more logic to you, just give it that name. Okay, so we just need here to click on create a class button, and after that here we are in our code editor. You will see this message right here. So let me just go inside my Visual Studio. You will see this message right here. That's basically saying that we have created a new C++ class, and then we need to reload all the classes. Okay, so just click on reload all. And basically the first thing that we are going to do is declare some of the variables inside our class. Okay, so let me just check in my other project what are those variables. Okay, so there's a few variables that we need to declare. So basically, what are those variables? Those variables will represent basically the component inside our blueprint, where we are going to set the specified location and the specified place in order to create a room. From those variables that are holding components for etc. We're going to create a few variables that are going to be static mesh components, and later inside our blueprint we are going to basically for the static mesh we are going to set some cube object, and from those cube objects we are going to create a room. Okay, so you get the point. I'm trying to explain as much as I can, but if anything is unclear, don't forget to reach to us now throughout our Discord server. The link is in the description down below this video. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is basically go to roombase.header and the first let me just see, the first variable that we are going to declare will be basically a type of useStatic mesh component. But before that, I'm going to delete this public, and I'm going to copy this because I want to avoid two publics. Okay, so yeah, just also delete these comments. They are sometimes helpful, but for now, or basically for me, they are a little bit boring. Okay, so let's now declare some of the variables. We are going to do that here below this protected. So the first thing that we are going to do is give it some specifiers. The first specifier that we are going to give it is visible anywhere, and the second one is basically category. We are going to set it inside the components category. And okay, so like I said, it will be a type of useStatic mesh component, and I'm going to name it something like I don't know, maybe cube _1. Okay, and let me see how many cubes we need. So we need 8 cubes along with one floor. Okay, so we're just going to copy and paste it 7 more times. Okay, so let me just check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so 2 more times, and we're going to change those names. So cube 2, cube 3, cube 4, cube 5, cube 6. Okay, cube 7, and cube 8, and like not cube 9 but cube 8. Okay, and like I said, we need another variable basically for our floor. Okay, so we're just going to copy and paste it, and we are just going to rename it to be a floor. And the next thing that we are going to do will be a box collision component. So basically the box component. The reason why we are declaring that box component is basically when we are spawning our rooms, sometimes one room can be spawned on the top of the other one. So yeah, that's basically the behavior that we want to avoid. So the logic that we are going to implement is that if the latest room that is spawned is overlapping with some other room, that latest room is going to get removed and spawned in some other place. So yeah, you get the point. Okay, so let's just copy these specifiers, because we are going to use the same specifiers. and it will be a type of U box component, and we are going to name it box collision. Okay, so basically collision that is going to get triggered if any room, or basically if the lattice room is spawned on the top of some other room. Okay, so you get to the point, and we are getting this red line right here. So basically our identifier ubox component is undefined, and we need to import that class. So the way we are going to do that is here above this U class, we need to type class and then ubox component. And also the thing that I want to mention is don't forget this asterisk sign. Okay, so that is very important. Don't basically don't forget it. The next thing that we are going to declare, and I think that, okay, for now that is the last thing, but later we are going to declare some other things. Okay, there are a few more things that we are going to declare later, and for now the latest thing that we need to declare is basically an arrow component. That arrow component is not necessary, but we are going to set it onto our room in order to see basically the direction of our room. Okay, so you will see later in the project what I mean by that. And again, we are going to copy these specifiers, and we are going to type U arrow component, and again we need to import that class. So we are going to do the same process like we did for our ubox component class. Okay, so just here above U class, type class, and then U arrow component, and I'm going to name it basically just arrow. So yeah, basic name that is telling us that this is an arrow. Okay, and now I think for now that's it. So we need to go to our roombase.cpp and basically we need to create those components inside our class. Okay, so later you will see that when we create a blueprint based class from our class, that there will be components on the left side. Okay, so that will be those components right here. So basically we declared a variable for those components. Okay, and I'm talking too much, and sorry about that, but I'm really just trying to explain as much as I can. Okay, so let me just see. Okay, the first thing that we are going to get is this cube underscore 1. Okay, so we need to get that cube underscore 1, and we need to type cube underscore 1 equals create default sub object, and we need this basically less greater sign. In between them we need a class of that component, so that will be this uStatic mesh component, and here we just need to specify a name for our cube. That will be something like I don't know, maybe cube 1. Okay, cube 1. Maybe we can name them to be wall, because we have already have one for floor, and the rest of the components, rest of these components are going to be walls. So never mind, I'm going to call them cube, but you can call them wall if that makes more sense to you. So yeah, and now we need to do the same process for the rest of the components. So let me just copy and paste them. We need, okay, so just like that, cube 2, cube 3, cube 4, cube 5, cube 6, cube 7, and cube 8. So here we need to rename them to, or basically we're going to get an error. The next thing that we need to basically to create the next component is this floor. So we need to type floor equals create default sub object, and the class of that component is the same as here, so uStatic mesh component. The name that we are going to give it is going to be just floor. So you can give it some other name. I'm going to give it just a floor. The next thing that we need to create, the next component, will be this box collision component. And so just type box collision equals create default sub-object. And I just want to mention something that maybe there's a better way of doing this. I don't know really. So, but I don't know. I didn't heard for some other ways, but maybe there is. I don't know. Every day the new things are coming into C++. So yeah, and basically you can check it out. You can basically do some researches. Okay, so no more talking. Let's back to work. We need this ubox component class. So in between less and greater sign, we need to pass in the class of the component that we are creating, and on the end, basically the same process. We need a name. We are going to give it a name, something like box collision. Okay, so that makes sense. Box underscore collision. And the last thing that we need to create will be this arrow component. So arrow equals create default sub-object. In between less and greater sign, we need this uArrow component class, and on the end we need a name for that. We need a name for that class, so that will be something like arrow underscore component. Okay, so just arrow underscore component. And now let's build our code. I just want to see if there's any error. Okay, so our code is compiling. I'm going to compile it again by clicking Ctrl-Shift-B on my keyboard. So actually, okay, so basically we need to close our Unreal Engine. So go to your Unreal Engine, and I'm going to close it. So what is this? Okay, so just click on Save Selected, and yeah, let's just basically again compile our code to see if there's any errors. And there is actually, so let me just see. I assume that the problem is that those two classes are needed to be included. So yeah, here we need to type include, and from the components folder we are going to get the box component. And another thing that we need to include will be also from the components folder, and we are going to include this arrow component. And let's test out again. Let's compile our code to see if there's any error. And yeah, cool thing, there's not actually any errors. So now I think that we can finally test it out. So let's launch our Unreal Engine by clicking Ctrl F5. And basically, before testing it out, we are going to create the child classes of that. We are going to create child classes of that room-based class. So we're going to create a few C++ child classes, and later from those C++ child classes we are going to create blueprint-based classes. Okay, so let's right-click on that room base, and let's just create C++ class derived from room base. Okay, so we are going to, I'm going to name it RB, so the shortcut for room base underscore something like dungeon room 1. Okay, so let's just create a class. And yeah, you may be asking why I'm basically creating a child C++ classes, and I'm going to explain it a little bit later, so don't worry about that. Everything is going to be explained. Okay, so we are going to create. Okay, so how many classes are we are going to create? Let me just see in my other project how many classes I have created, and I have created. Okay, so I have created 5 classes. So 5 classes for 5 rooms. Okay, so I'm going to name it Dungeon Room 2 RB underscore Dungeon Room 2. So just click on Create Class. And let's again from this room base create another C++ class. Okay, so rb underscore dungeon dungeon room 3. Okay, so let's just create a class. Okay, so let's create another room. So the next one will be rb underscore dungeon room 4. Okay, so just create a class. And okay, so this like coding is boring a little bit, and we are going to create another class, and that will be dungeon room 5. So basically we are creating for now 5 classes for 5 additional rooms, but later in some other parts we are going to create a few more classes, so a few more version of rooms. Like I said, we are going to create a basic rooms, so with with 1 floor, and later we are going to create rooms basically that are going to attach the first with second floor, so stairs room or basically elevator room. And also we are going to create a non-square room, so I'm going to show you that basically you can create anything that you want, but you just need to adjust some of the settings. Okay, so some of the options. And yeah, I actually think that this is pretty alright. The next thing that we are going to do is here inside our content folder we are going to create another folder, so a child folder, and I'm going to name it PDG, so Procedural Dungeon Generation underscore files. Okay, so something like that. And we are going to create so let me just see. Okay, so for now we are going to create from this rb underscore dungeon room 2, we are going to create a blueprint class based on that class. Okay, so I'm going to name it bp underscore dungeon room 1, and I'm going to store it inside our pdg underscore files folder, so that's the reason why we have created that folder. Okay, so just click on create rb dungeon room 1, and yeah, you will see that we are getting this blueprint class. So inside our pdg underscore files folder we are getting this blueprint actor. Okay, and on the left side you will see that we are getting basically these components. So for this floor we are going to create a floor for our room, and for these 8 cubes or 8 components we are going to create a walls. And like I said, maybe it's better to rename them to be something like wall 1, wall 2, and etc. To the wall 8. Okay, and yeah, maybe that makes more sense. Okay, so yeah, this arrow is showing us the direction of our room, and basically this box collision is a box that is going to get triggered if if any additional room is spawned on that specified room. Okay, so but the next thing that we are going to do is create a folder. So we are going to create a default scene roots. So those components are something like folder, and later from that default scene roots, or basically I'm going to call them folder. I think that maybe that's better and more understandable for you. So later from those folders we can get the child components. So in some moments that is something that we want. Okay, so let me just see in my other project. So basically we are going to create some of the folders. We are going to store those cubes, this floor 2, this box collision, this I think this arrow not, but we are going to create I think two, or basically another additional folder. So yeah, I'm going to explain what we are going to use that folder for. So let's go to our code editor and do that right now. So okay, so you will see this message right here. Like I said, that is a message that is showing us that we have created some additional classes. Okay, so just click on reload all, and that boring message is going to disappear. Okay, so like I said, we are going to create some folders where we are going to basically attach some components to those folders. For example, let me go into my room-base.header. For example, we are going to create a separate geometry folder for our static meshes. We are going to create an overlap folder for our box collisions. Okay, because on some rooms we are going to have more than one box collisions. Okay, so let's create those two folders that we need. But actually, before even those two folders, we need to create another folder, and that will be a main folder where we are going to store all the components that we have in our blueprint. Okay, so okay, I hope you get the point. If you don't, you will see later what I mean by that. So here, let me just see in my other project. Okay, so here below protected, we need to type u property, or actually we can just copy these specifiers, and here we need to type u scene component, and we are going to name it so the main folder where we are going to store all of our components is going to be default scene root. Okay, the next one, so I'm just going to basically copy this and paste it, and I'm going to name it geometry folder. Okay, so the next folder that we are going to create will be overlap folder. So let me just go to my roombase.cpp, and the first thing that we are going to do is create a default subobject for those folders. So let me just get this default scene root, and like I said, we are going to use that default scene root as a main folder for all of our components. So we are going to attach it to be our root component of our blueprint. So here I'm just going to type u scene component, and I'm going to type text. Okay, so default scene root. Okay, so we need to do that for our geometry folder and for our overlap folder, geometry folder, and also I'm going to name it geometry folder, and we need to do that, like I said, for our overlap folder. Okay, so overlap folder, here it is. And the next thing that we need to do, we are going to attach those components to the folder that we need to attach it to. Okay, but first we are going to, so we are going to do that here below. Okay, so like I said, we need to set this default scene root to be a root component of our blueprint. So we are going to do that by typing default scene root minus greater setup attachment. We need here to type root component, and basically we are going to attach the geometry folder and the overlap folder to our default scene root. Okay, so setup attachment, and I don't know, you may be confused now, but don't worry, you will see later what it will look. So yeah, and later when you see how it looks, you can just back to this part to see again what code are we typing. Okay, so yeah, the next thing that we need is this overlap folder. so not the whole line of code, but just this overlap folder. We need to type setup attachment, and we are going to attach it to default scene root also, because this arrow component is not going to have a separate folder. So, or actually, I don't know, maybe we can attach it to our geometry folder, but yeah, we are not actually going to do that. I didn't do it in my other project, so I'm not going to do it here also. So before anything, we are just going to attach it to our default scene root folder. Okay, so just like that, and now we can start attaching our rest of the components. So these components right here. The first, we need to attach those cube components. So here one, set up attachment. Okay, so just like that. We are going to attach it to our geometry folder, and we need to copy and paste it 8 times along with this line of code right here. We are going to get 8 cubes and 1 floor. So just copy and paste it. Okay, so 4, 5, 6, 7, so 7, 8, 9. Okay. So the last one, we are just going to rename it to be our floor. But for the previous, we need to rename them to be Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. And we need to attach this box collision to our overlap folder. So yeah, we have created a separate folder for our overlaps, or basically our collisions, because like I said, in some other rooms we're going to have more than one collisions, so box components. We're just going to type setup attachment, and we are going to attach it to our box overlap folder, actually, not box collision. Box collision is basically a component, and I think that we actually did everything that we need. So okay, and one thing before testing it out is that we need to basically get this arrow, and we need to get a boolean from that arrow that is called be hidden in the game. So basically this boolean right here, we are specifying it to be false, and yeah, basically our arrow in the game is not going to be hidden. If you don't write this line of code, our arrow is going to be hidden. But also, if you don't want it to be specified here, you can do it in the Unreal editor. So yeah, you can do it with the power of our editor. Okay, so finally, I think that we can test it out. But first, I'm going to close my Unreal Engine. I'm going to compile my code by clicking Ctrl-Shift-B. And I need to wait a little bit, and you need to. So yeah, let's see if there's any errors. There's not. And now we can launch our Unreal Engine by clicking Ctrl-F5. So yeah, let's wait a little bit. And I don't know why, but my Unreal Engine has crashed. So okay, so yeah, I see now why. Like I said previously, if you don't change these names, you're going to get an error. So we need to just here type overlap folder. So let's again compile our code and launch our Unreal Engine after that. Okay, so here we are in our Unreal Engine, and now if I open my BP_dungeon room 1, and if I basically open full blueprint editor, you will see on the left side that basically we have these kind of folders. So yeah, if I just click on this arrow, you will see that we are hiding our child components that are in this geometry folder. So yeah, like I said, this is some kind of folder, and later in our code we can basically get all the children components from that folder. So yeah, that's a cool thing about those folders. So yeah, I think that we have did enough work for this part. Basically, I created just one blueprint from our C++ child classes because I wanted to show you what we are doing here. So in the next part, we are going to basically make a look for our room, and we are going to create a rest of blueprints. Okay, so basically, we're going to fill those empty components with some static meshes and materials, and we're going to adjust some settings. Also, we are going to make it, we're going to create an appropriate look for our room. So yeah, and also in the next part, we are going to create some kind of starter spawn logic. Okay, so we will see. And yeah, basically that's it. And guys, there's one thing that I want to say to you. Please, if anything isn't clear, because there were many complex things. So yeah, feel free to reach to us now throughout our Discord server. The link is in the description, or you can basically just leave a comment down below this video. So yeah, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next part.